Winston Churchill once said this about America: you can always count on Americans to do what's right after they exhausted every other option. It is very clear that I tried every possible way, listening to every single person in the conference. When we went to vote on appropriations bills you didn't think we could pass, we passed them. It was tough, but we got it through. We made sure we came down the last hour. Would I have wanted the bill we put on the floor yesterday that would secure our border, cut wasteful spending? Yes, I did. But I had some members in our own conference that wouldn't vote for that. So if you have members in your conference that won't let you vote for appropriation bills, doesn't want an omnibus, and won't vote for a stopgap measure, so the only answer is to shut down and not pay our troops, I don't want to be a part of that team. I want to be a part of a conservative group that wants to get things done.
Goodbye, Kevin McCarthy. See you later. Because Kevin McCarthy couldn't be the Speaker of the House, he resigned. If he's not going to be the leader, he's not going to be in the House of Representatives anymore. But all of the complaining and whining and playing victim and all of the infighting, I have a serious question here. Why can't anyone normal be the Republican Speaker of the House? Or I have one step further. Why can't there be any normal Republicans anymore? I think I know the answer. It's because they become the party of Donald Trump. But first here you have Kevin McCarthy decides to take his ball and go home because he can't be the leader of the team anymore. And now his replacement, MAGA Mike Johnson, has compared himself to Moses. So it would be funny if it wasn't so utterly dangerous. I want to hear from one of my favorite shows here on the MeidasTouch Network, the Suburban Women Problem. Because as they say, suburban women have had enough of this. Let's go to the Suburban Women Problem. You're going to love this.
Kevin McCarthy has decided to take his ball and go home. He no longer wants to play. If he doesn't get to be team captain, he is done. And so he's just going to go home. And yeah, he's like, I'm deuces. I do not want to be part of your team. And I guess it kind of begs the question, like, was he ever part of the team, or did he only want to be part of the team if he could be the leader of the team? And now that he is no longer that, he doesn't want to do it. And that, if you're scoring at home, along with George Santos being removed, it means that the Republicans now have a 1-seat majority. And as Marjorie Taylor Greene pointed out, anyone can die any minute. And I mean, that's a really heavy thought, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, all of us basically are in that same boat. But yes, so anything could happen. And they always talk about the American people, but they really don't care about the American people because they haven't done anything. As Chip Roy famously said during quite recently, he was like, we haven't done anything. It was like, sometimes they get it right. You're right. This Congress has not done anything. He is not lying. That is absolutely true.
It's mostly for like a select few very wealthy business owners. That is who they are working for.
And, some of them have a desire to do other things I don't agree with, but they can't even get the things they want to do done because they cannot agree amongst themselves about what is important.
I kind of feel like Kevin McCarthy resigning reminds me a little of John Boehner here at Ohio resigning. Like, some of it, I feel like they're like, whoa, like once they're the leader, they really have to like see who's in their tent with them. And they're like, whoa, I didn't know this is who you guys were. Like, you guys kind of suck. I don't want to do this. Like, some of it is like realizing who their party is that they didn't quite see before. And maybe they didn't want to see. But when you're the leader of the party, you kind of have to deal with everyone and see who they are. And turns out they're not that fun to work with.
I just like this idea of whenever you're not the leader to leave. Like, look at Nancy Pelosi. She willingly gave up the minority leadership and let, to train someone new for, new people to come in, new ideas. And also, I mean, it's the responsible thing to do, but she didn't.
Kevin McCarthy's like, Mike Johnson, you're untrainable. This is untrainable territory. I'm out.
That is kind of fair, I guess. That is sort of, I think, accurate. One of my favorite things, I only call him now Republican Moses, because if you missed the story last week.
This is a good one.
Last week he was
also scared.
speaking. What?
Also scary. This is a pretty scary story. It's funny.
This is
but also
actually
really
very scary. I agree. So last week he was speaking, Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, he was speaking at the Museum of the Bible. And I guess he thought no cameras were on, which, I mean, for the love of all that is holy, including Moses, do
All eyes are on you now,
not
Moses.
ever think that there is no media or someone isn't recording something. I mean, how stupid do you have to be? Even my 12-year-old daughter knows this. Snapchat, it might think it disappears, but it doesn't disappear. If it goes on the internet, it is there forever. If it is said in public, it is just assume someone is recording it and it is said forever. Anyway, so he's like, whispers, now that the media is not here, let me just tell you something. For 3 weeks during the speaker debacle, God spoke to me and said that I would be the speaker. I am like Moses of our generation.
Was it like a Snapchat? Does God have like a God Snapchat that he like?
I don't know exactly how he heard God's voice, but so my question is, okay, yeah. So Moses, Republican Moses, you are Moses. Tell me who the other characters are in this. Just set the scene for me. Who is Ramses II in your scenario? Who is the Jews? Like, who are you leading and where out of what and into what? And I'm just going to go ahead and point out Moses was not allowed. After they left Egypt, the Jews left Egypt, they wandered in the desert for 40 years with like really no sense of permanence. And we celebrate this every year.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I mean, like a Republican, like
I think that's what they're doing now. That was happening way before.
There's a lot of desert in Nevada.
Yeah. And it's true, there is. So I don't know if like Mike Johnson is that far into his like, method acting, or if he's going to go ahead and like ditch that part. But just the idea of this is because, I'll tell you, we don't, Amanda and I both come from an evangelical Christian background, and this imagery is very powerful, but I feel like no one is like giving it really some critical thought. But what they're doing when they say these things, and another thing that they really like to say is that, God, which the Bible said that God puts leaders in their positions. So they forgive Trump for his indiscretions because they say that God put him in that position and therefore it's sanctioned and it's okay. And to which I would say, what about Hitler? Was that sort of sanctioned? And also, what about President Biden? Did God not put him in charge as well? So you can't just have it when you want to have it. It can't just be true when it's convenient for you. And that's like when he likens himself to Moses, it is really, he is trying to say, God told me I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to do this. And you need to accept it because I have heard from God. And like a lot of people don't question that at all. And I think it's
and there are issues rhetoric with thinking with thinking you're anointed by God, because then you don't even care if the election results are true or not, right? You're anointed by God. Of course you're going to overthrow it, right? You're anointed by God. You should be there because of some, I don't know, God Snapchat you think happened and appointed you as leader. But like, we've been down this road before, right? Our country was kind of founded on the fact that we didn't think we should have a king or a queen anointed by God. It's pretty fundamental in our democracy. And suddenly we're like, well, I don't know. Maybe we should go back to the whole king anointed by God thing. We've been there. Didn't work.